Days of hand reading. Today for day 41 we are going to be doing both ranges, some dual hand reading stuff right here. So we're just going to get right down to it. We have our opponent Home Tiger. We are going to consider him the hero today, and we read this one or hand read this hand on day 41 or day 40, and then so let's take a look now for day 41. Find a different hand. This one might be okay, a check and then a call. So he just checked out of the big blind. I want to see some more kind of action pre-flop in order to kind of narrow some ranges here. Raise, bet, check, and then call the river. So raise, bet, some aggression. Oh yeah, this will be good actually. This is opposite of that prior hand that we did. Passivity pre and on the flop, and then aggression late. This one will see some aggression early and then passivity later in the hand. So let's take a look at it here. Of course, as always, we've got our split suit template to take a look at. 8, 8, 2, 9, 40, 60. And of course, as you know, because, oh, hold on a second. Home Tigre 24 hero in BB, and then let's see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. But of course, just like we done on day 40, we've got two windows for Flopzilla here, and hold EQ so we can pit range versus range. Top window is our hero's range. Let's give him ace 3 right now. Yep, it's working. Bottom window is our villains. Let's give our villain pocket sixes. Pocket sixes. Oh, nice. 66% equity versus the ace 3 suited. Good, good. So we've got everything set up. We are good to go. It's time to start diving into the hand here. So, TexasGundy folds. I fold. What did I fold? You can see at this table 80 hands. I'm a 15-13 tight aggressive player, and I folded the 9 deuce suited. I don't blame myself for that. Wow, so once again, just like hand 40, we have a small blind VBB, small blind versus big blind here. Blind versus blind action from a short stacked 40 big blind player. And then so we see that raise. Good, good, good. So first off, let's take a look at our villain here. He's a 23-16 loose passive player, doesn't like to raise a lot. He's the kind of guy that really does just like to see flops, doing a ton of calls, right? Calling 23% of the time, raising 6. He limps. He faces a raise from our hero, and then the villain just calls. So let's take a look first at the villain's limp and then calling range. First off, if he didn't open the pot, he probably doesn't have some of those more nuttier hands in his range. So let's just start him at 26%. Maybe we'll take some of this stuff off. There we go. So I'm saying pre-flop, he is very loose passive. Let's say he's raising all this stuff in the small blind, right? Let's say he's raising ace 10 suited. Let's say he's raising ace jack offsuit. He's just limping 8s. He's raising 9s. It is in the small blind, so maybe he's very timid. This could be a very wide limp calling range, actually. Well, the first thing I'm thinking about is just his limping range right here. Come to think of it, let's add these in. This all makes sense as a limping range. I think ace jack offsuit, king queens, and then the ace 10 suited, all of those non-paired hands are raising in the small blind. And 9s or better, I think 8s or worse are limping. 9s, this guy's so loose passive, let's give him 9s as a limping hand. Yeah, we'll give him limping. And so now what he decides to do is he limps and then he calls the hand. I need to arrange the window so I can click on it easily. Okay. So he limps and then calls. So now what is limp calling? We definitely don't want to give him this wide of a range. Let's give him all these aces. Suited kings. We can give him all the suited kings, but let's cut this up. Queen 8. Jack 8 will often call. 10-7 probably not. 7-5, 6-5. We're going to give him every single pocket pair. This is folding, that's folding. Maybe the 10-9 is calling. I'd say all those are folding. And all these offsuit broadways that didn't raise. The offsuit aces are calling. Queen 8, Jack 8, I'm good with those. 8-6, the worst suited connector, or suited gapper. 7-6, the worst suited connector, I'm good with that. He might call with 6-5. Let's put one more suited connector in. Ace 10, King Jack. Yeah, so I like this range. It's a pretty wide range, limping and then calling 27%. But we can see he is very loose passive, out of 203 hands. Let's take a look. Oh, wrong button. Or wrong, what do you call it? Wrong pop-up, I mean to say. So limp and then calling. We haven't seen hardly anything. Any limp is 14% of the time he's limping. But it is in the small blind, so we can't say, oh, look, 42% of the time he's limping. Limp fold 67%. Limp call only 33%. So he hasn't faced too many raises. You know, I'm pretty good with this range. We can tighten it up a little bit because he seems like he won't be calling ultra wide. Maybe right there. Let's give him the suited kings. He's already committed a little bit of money. Okay, let's give him 24%. $324 combos, 24% range. What the heck? What's happening here? Dang, what happened to the range? It done disappeared. I must have screwed up and pushed a button somewhere. Okay, so it was a 24% range. Let's go to 22%. Add these back. Sometimes that's what happens. Nope, I have him calling with the nines. Let's go here, remove that, keep all the kings in, the ace. Oh, it was roughly 7-6 deuces. I think eights is what I kept in. 366 combos. I think I might have taken that out. 362, 27. Something seems wrong here. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. 24, 326. Okay. I think this was right. There might have been one hand off, but I'm good with saying he's limp calling queen 9, 9, 7, 7, 6, eights through deuces, the offsuit broadways. And all. Okay, I'm good with this range. If it differs by one or two hands, so be it. But it's still pretty darn close in my book. So copy. That's the range. 25%, 326 combos. Doing some misclicking there. Villain open limp calls after hero 3x or 3 big blind raises. Great. So that's the range that we're going to put our open limp calling villain on. 80 cents. Yeah, just a little bit over 3 big blinds he raised it to. So what is he raising in this spot? Let's give him the 22%. In general, he's a 27-28, very loose aggressive guy. How often does he just isolate? He isolates 25% of the time. So, and then 25% out of the big blind as well. So let's definitely give him something around a 25% range. Well, not the calling. We want the 2-betting range right here. He is doing it with every ace for sure. Every offsuit ace. Probably checking behind the 10-9. Possibly checking the offsuit 10s. I think he's probably calling with these instead of raising. Probably calling. King 9. I can see him raise with King 9 suited. Maybe not all the suited kings. I think a lot of those are checking behind to see a free flop with those hands. 10-8. Let's say Jack 9 he's raising with. Actually, I think 9-8 and 8-7, I think he's calling. 10-9 he's calling. Jack 10 could be a raise. Jack 10 offsuit, possibly a raise. Every ace, every pocket pair. Or is he calling these? Let's say he's calling these. Why commit any extra here? This guy is showing loose passive tendencies, so he's probably calling quite a bit of raises. I think he'd probably be checking behind in the big blind with these. But I can see everything else here raising. King 9 even. Yeah, okay. Let's give him 24% range. 322 combos. So we can see with these two ranges that we've set for our hero and villain, we see our hero, because he has all those, it's a smaller range for one thing, it's a tighter range, but he also has all of the nutted, you know, the best offsuit hands, suited hands, and the best pairs in his range, where our villain doesn't have those at all. So he is a favorite for sure at 57% right now, but let's see what happens on the flop. Jack 5-6, Diamond Heart Club. Whoops. Jack 5-6 rainbow right here. So on this board, we can see right away that our hero's range is actually, it jumped up just a little bit, couple percentage points to 58%. So things are looking good. Jack 6-5, Diamond Club Heart. Was it 58? 40 deuce. Okay, let's see what the action is. Pot's $1.60. And 4 big blinds. Now, this could, of course, be just your standard c-bet bluff or c-betting for value. As we can see, it's 77% c-betting right here. So he's c-betting a pretty wide range. And if I'm not mistaken, just to call. Sets are making this bet. Sure, sets could be betting more, but the board's not that scary. He only started the hand with 40 big blinds, so it's really easy. If he did flop a set or even an overpair, aces, kings, queens, it's really easy to get his full stack in, assuming he's willing to commit something. But when you start with just 40 big blinds, it doesn't take much at all. So he bet $1 with his sets, his 2 pairs. Oh, he doesn't have any 2 pairs. His over pairs, yep, totally. His top pairs, I can see all of those betting $1 here. Pocket pair below. Sure, it's not the easiest of boards to hit. I mean, 2 low cards down here, 1 up. You know, it's a 1 up, 2 down board. Not that easy to hit. Plus, there aren't many like gut shots or open enders that the opponent could have. And plus, it's not a 2-tone board, so it's a slightly drier board. Pretty good to bluff at. Or to value bet with your pocket pair below top pair, and then expect like a random king or a queen or an ace 1 overcard to call. It's possible. Mid pairs. All those craps. I think they're betting right here. I really do. I think mid pairs are betting. Weak pairs, sure, why not? If he's betting mid pairs as a bluff just to get his opponent to fold a random king or a queen that he doesn't want them to hit on the turn, he could be betting those weak pairs as well. Ace highs now. Well, let's put the 2 card backdoor flushes in. Overcards, let's put those in. Now, just straight ace. I think all the ace highs could. I think all the ace highs could be betting right here. We won't put the no-made hands in. 2 card backdoor flushes. No, let's not put that in. A lot of these are within these other card strengths or hand strengths that we're talking about here. Just straight over. Yeah. Oh, those overcards are all betting. Oh, he doesn't even have any open enders in the range. Yeah, look at this. 96% of the time on this hard to hit, pretty dry board, he's betting. And I bet that is the case, especially versus this passive player right here. Just trying to bluff him off. He probably thinks he's only calling with a jack 5 or 6, and he probably has a good chance of taking it down. He might slow down on the turn once he does call. So let's put him on this pretty wide c-betting range. I mean, some of these ace highs, sure, we could remove them, but they're still an ace. Those weak, I think he's betting those as well. I don't think... See, I think what he could do is you bet now, and it's barely over half pot, right? You make the bet right now, and if you don't like the fact that he called, you just check behind on the turn and keep that pot really small and then assess the river. Either check behind on the river, bet for value if you hit something good, or just fold if your opponent decides to commit a lot of money. But this bet right here will allow Home Tiger to see a free river card. So we are going to put him on this 96% range. 96 and 280 combos. Now, what is our opponent check and then calling with? He does have a short stack, and it's possible passive guys like this do like to slow play. And so it's totally possible he's check calling with a set. He doesn't have any 2 pairs, nor does he have over pairs. Top pairs. All those jacks, yeah, he's a passive guy in general. Just because you got top pair with a good kicker, I mean, he's still losing to Home Tiger when he raised with aces, kings, or queens, or even ace jack and king jack beat some of those other top pair hands in, what's his name? In Phastlane's range right here. So I think all of these are check calling. None of them need to check fold or check raise. Pocket pair below? Yeah, totally. If you don't think your opponent hit a jack and he's just bluffing with an ace king, ace queen, ace 10, ace 4, then yeah, totally calling with those. It is a smallish bet also. Mid pairs. Yep. He's a loose passive guy. Could be calling. What is his? Oh, he folds on the flop. He folds the flop c-bets 90% of the time. I need to make some adjustments here. Folds on the flop 90%. Wow. So sets. Top pair. Pocket pair below. Let's keep those in. Mid pairs. Let's take those out. Weak pairs, he's not check calling. Well, not when he folds 90% of the time. Goodness gracious. Ace highs are not calling here. No middle, not calling. Open ender. I think open enders can totally call in this instance. Gut shotters. It's over a half pot bet. I bet gut shots are folding at this point. It's not like they're two overcards with a gut shot. They're just straight undercard gut shots. So no. Overcards, no. 2-card backdoor, no. No. So like really, I'm basing the range that I'm narrowing him down to, basing it on this folding to the flop C bet of 90%. The guy loves to fold to flops. He's the kind of guy you've got to be betting. So his C betting range of, 96% of his pre-flop range, 96% of the time C betting here, he's got to do it because this dude's folding so often. He should actually be C betting 100% of his range. He should be. Yeah, so we're going to give him this 20% range here. 61 combos. Uh, 20%, 61 combos. Yeah, 20%. Sweet. Great. So now that we have these two opponents narrowed, a much wider 280 combos versus a much more narrow 61 combos, he actually has 70% equity because we basically only have him calling, pocket pair below top pair. I think he can still call with those. We could remove them if we wanted, but one street, let's say he's calling there, right there. And then all these other nutter butters and then some good open-ender right there, which is the nut open-ended draw as well to the high end, to the high straight. Great, so I like this. 70% equity for our villain. And the 10 of clubs hits here. 10 of clubs. So on the 10 of clubs, villain is at 71%. Whoops. Lovely. So what happens now? The 10 hits. Our villain check. And then a check again. Okay, so this is... let's start with Home Tiger's range because that's going to be the quicker and easy one. Home Tiger wants to get value with all of their cards. If they hit a 10, or if they have a set of 10s possible, right? Yeah, so he doesn't have a set of jacks, 10s, or 6s right here. There's no way he has those cards and is just checking behind. He's got to get value with the nuts or the second nuts at this point. No reason to check and slow play versus a fishy player. And then look, this guy also called on the flop when he normally folds. That means he likes his hand. He's calling on this turn most of the time. He should be totally value betting. He doesn't have two pair either. Jack 10, no way. Over pairs, he cannot be checking over pairs. Now, is he checking? I mean, the 10 shouldn't scare you unless you think your opponent only has a Jack 10, and then now he just two paired you versus your top pair hand. I don't see why you would even check Queen Jack or Ace Jack here or King. I don't see why you would check any of them. I don't get it. Middle pairs are checking because your opponent called on the flop. You're probably beat at this point. Weak pairs are checking. Ace highs are checking. No made hand covers a lot of them. Flush draws are checking. No flush draw. Gut shots over cards. No, I can't do that. I can't do no flush draw because that's a lot of these hands up here. We got to make sure that the strongest hands that we're removing stay removed. So I can see overcards checking behind because he's so flop honest. He decided to call. It means my overcards are beat currently. So I don't want to double barrel bluff when he's not going to fold to a bluff. Overcards are in the range. Gut shots are in the range. I'm just double checking everything. Open enders totally in the checking behind range. No reason to commit more money when your opponent's not folding to bluffs. Flush draws are checking behind. Yeah, I think all this stuff is checking behind. So we've narrowed him down a little bit, not a ton. 74%, 201 combos. Now our opponent. The opponent raised on the flop. Oh, I'm sorry, raised pre-flop. Bet on the flop. He could really be checking with the plan to check call or check raise with all of his strong hands here because he's already shown two streets of aggression. Why would he slow down now? Looking at it from his perspective. So I think he could slow play and just check with all of his hands. There's no straights, but he could be doing it with sets, doing it with two pair, doing it with his top pair too. I mean, yeah, Jack 9, they still have a top pair hand. They could totally be check calling. Some of these, the two pairs and the sets could be check raising. Weak pairs. Oh yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, he check called one street with a weak pair. Now a second overcard came to his weak pairs. He's just check calling or possibly check folding here. Ace high, no made hand. No, I mean, really, like, look, we're already 100% when we include all these ones in, because the no-made hands, some of these are in the no-made hands. You know, I mean, yeah, we have 100% of his range. I think it's all in. It's only 58 combos, too. All right, so now that we've narrowed their ranges here, our villain has 83% equity in this hand because our hero has plenty of weak stuff. He's all of his top heavy hands are gone too. Top pairs or better are out of here. He doesn't have any top pairs anymore. And the deuce of spades doesn't change anything. I mean, if someone has a 3-4, now they have a straight. If somebody stayed in with deuces, they have a full house. But really, that deuce is an inconsequential card. So this equity, I expect it to remain about the same. Oh, even more, 90%. That does make sense because our opponent had our hero had so many draws that didn't complete anything, so his equity went up. That makes sense. Deuce of spades, 10%, 90% equity. Holy cow. 360 in the pot. $1.80, so straight half pot bet, and then just a call. So first, what is our opponent betting half pot with? Straights, sets. Because the villain showed weakness, smallish bet on the flop, no bet on the turn. He's got to be going for some kind of value. He could overbet. Sometimes you see guys, loose passive guys, just making a full pot size bet or $3, even $4 with like 2 pair or a set here. But he might be just kind of smart thinking, my opponent showed weakness. I want to get some value from my hand. So a half pot bet is all that I think I can get. Maybe he'll call with an under pair or even an ace high hand. So he's probably just going for value, thinking that's all his opponent can call. The villain, he's betting straights, he's betting sets, betting 2 pairs. He's betting all his top pair hands. His opponent just now checked behind the turn. If he would have hit a jack that's better than the jack 9. Whoops, where's that? Better than the jack 9 or better than the queen or king jack. Yeah, he's betting all of those. Weak pairs, I don't see any reason to bet here. I don't think they're betting. No made hand, no. So actually, we've narrowed him down a little bit more, down to 42 combos, 72% of the time. Nice. River range in. Now, he just called a half pot bet. Darn, those should have been removed last time. They were still in before that deuce of spades hit. They were still in because they were part of some other hand that I somehow left in. Maybe it was a flush draw thing. Oh, that's why. I kept him in with his flush draws, and ace jack was a part of the flush draws. So I failed to remove those last time. So we're going to pretend they're not here anymore. Because I think all of those top pair plus flush draws definitely would have bet. Take these out. Even though there's 0 combos, still just take them out. Mid pairs, just thinking his opponent is bluffing. Ace 10, yeah, turn those second pair hands. Why didn't they bet though? I think he has a weak pair or ace high. All these different aces on the non-scary deuce of spades could be betting here. Or could be calling. Wait, really? Ace 3 even? I think it's possible he could be calling. Is he really calling those ace high hands? When your opponent shows he likes the flop, you just have an ace, you've got to put your opponent on some kind of pair. Are you really going to call with ace high? I mean, I literally only have 32 combos of it. Ace king and ace queen in the range. Yeah. Weak pairs now. Are those literally going to call? I think the mid pair would call. The weak pairs could call. Ace highs? I don't even want to put ace highs in the range. I don't mind taking those out. I'm just saying he's calling with mid pairs and weak pairs. That's it, man. That is it. Yeah, we're putting him on a very narrow range. I don't think he's calling with an ace high against a fishy player who wakes up on the river with a bet. I think that would be a really inadvisable call, is what I think there. 34% of his turn range. Okay, let's see. King and a 6. Wow. 10 and a 4. Holy stromboli. Well, I did put King 6 in his calling range pre-flop. Limp calling range pre-flop. It was in. But when did I remove second pair? I guess I removed it on the turn. Before that happened. Yeah, I guess I removed it on the turn. Wow, okay. So he stayed in with a flopped second pair hand, turned third pair hand, and then bet the river on the inconsequential. Maybe it was just a blocking bet. Maybe this player is capable of making third pair blocking bets on non-scary boards. It's possible. And then he called with a 10-4. I'm really surprised about that. Look how far down he raised, all the way to here. So if we get rid of, just clear the board here. I don't know if this makes a difference. Put another card down, remove all those, now clear it. Okay, so I had him pre-flop calling with this range, or not calling, raising with this range. But look at that. He actually probably has all of these. At least to there, right? So he probably has a big blind isolation range of 50% or so. 10-4 suited. If he does 10-4, he's capable of doing the 10-5. 10-5 means maybe 9-5, but probably 9-6. 8-5, we can keep that one in. 6-4, 5, maybe not these ones. Let's not go that low. But wow, I am shocked. He's way looser than I would have thought. Okay. BB capable of ISO raising the small blind with 10-4 suited. 50% range. Good to know about that player. All right, and limp calling the king 6 suited makes sense, but I removed it far too soon. All right, I think that was a pretty good practice. We learned a little bit more about Home Tiger. He does deserve the loose aggressive moniker for sure, and this guy does deserve the 2316 loose passive moniker. But the interesting thing about that river bet right here, I'm suspecting because it's third pair, it wasn't for value for sure. It was just a blocking bet. He was willing to pay $1.80, but if Home Tiger bet $2 or $2.70 or $2.50, he would have possibly, he didn't want to pay that much. That was a river blocking bet, I think is what it was. Big stack raising war kings, Mindonk. Okay, so of river blocking bet with third pair. Cool beans. And I'm going to give him the green label because he's rather loose passive. So this is the kind of player we definitely want to see pots against. This guy here, 27-23, I give him the blue reg label. I'm actually going to give him the orange super loose aggressive label. Yep. Just the same thing with this guy, 47-39. This guy's got the green loose passive 48-7 label. Yep. Alrighty, y'all. Thank you very much for watching day 41 of 66 days in a row of hand reading. I'll catch you later for day 42.